From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Hey there, I'm John St. John, and you are watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. We're talking about Spider-Man 2018, Insomniac Games' Spider-Man. Honestly, we're going to talk about it, but a little bit of news here. We are actually streaming in about 3 places right now. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. So with that being said...
Why do you ask? Because we're that flippin' cool.
Mostly because it makes us fully accessible for everybody.
Lies.
Well, we want everybody to be able to watch, and I think everybody who is following, who is sharing, are basically seeing what we got in store for them with LA Knight in the middle of the screen screaming, "Yeah!" Which James is probably going to go back and take a look at it very, very shortly. But, guys, let's get right into it. 2018 Insomniac Games, PS4 exclusive, then PS5, and then
PS5
PC.
remaster.
Very much a remaster, and we'll talk about that because that's a big point of the remaster. But let's start with the person that I know is going to have a lot to say. Let's go to Will, because I want to hear what James has to say second.
I just saw the LA Knight. Yeah.
This is a game I actually spent the time to platinum.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
This game. Because I am just that fucking good.
He did a majority of it at my house. It was always a joy to watch.
I did the entirety of it at your house, James. What do you mean? What do you mean I did a majority of it? I did all of it.
There were some days where I was sleeping. I didn't know. Remember, I was tired.
Bro, my PlayStation lived at your house. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It was good. I think it is like one of the best games I have ever played in my life. That's just me. That's just my opinion. The story was good. Separated into 3 parts. I think the only thing is I wish like maybe the first part was a little bit longer, because like the game basically has 3 villains throughout the entirety of the game. With being Wilson Fisk in the beginning for the tutorial, then the demons and Mr. Negative, and then finally
Which one? Doc Ock?
Doc Ock.
Okay, I was waiting for you to get there on your own.
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with my brain.
So, what other about it did it make you want to platinum it?
It was Spider-Man.
I kind of figured you were gonna go with that.
To be completely honest with you, it was because it was Spider-Man, and it was an actual Spider-Man game for once in Spider-Man's career that was actually not shit.
So we appreciate everybody who just followed the channel and everything. Holy crap. That's about 15 people. So, hi everybody.
Hey friends.
But let's go over to James.
Yeah.
Let's hear your review. While you do that, I'm going to take a very, very alcoholic sip.
So, shortly after Will played the game, I went, I kind of wish I could play it too. And then it ended up being one of the PS games of the month. fell in love with it. Combat was smooth, swinging was amazing. I honestly feel like this is it was a great game to represent Spider-Man. It had a good story, great pick of villains nonetheless. I'm glad you picked an obscured villain for your middle story. That's something that's always nice. I enjoyed that. You don't go with the usual big group and just stay with that. You're not afraid to break apart, and that made it flow more. We got to see a lot more. I wouldn't say we got to see a lot of Spider-Man Peter drama, but we got to see a little bit more of like some Peter issues every now and then that kind of made their way into the story and didn't try to over kind of like wash and make it where it was good. It was great.
Which part of the game, like villain wise, did you enjoy the most, and which part of the game threw you more for a loop? And I'm going to start with you, James.
Okay. So one of my fights was I actually enjoyed Mr. Negative. Because once again,
you fight him 3 times. Which version? Which time?
I kind of like the first one because at that time being, that was a very, how to put it, that was my first time actually really getting to know the character. Like, I knew of the name Mr. Negative, but never really knew the character because he was so obscure to me. I've never seen him via comics or anything. So I finally got to be obsessed with this character after done playing it, stopping for that night, reading into him more, and just falling in love with that. So the first fight made the biggest impact for me. That's usually a really big thing. Like, the first fights are always usually a big impact for me. That's the way that makes me either like the character or despise the character, depending. And call me cliche, but I do like Doc Ock.
I mean, Doc Ock is a good villain.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's my little thing, and I'm gonna get right into it. I absolutely loved the game. The swinging aspect is by far probably the best swinging aspect in any of the Spider-Man games. I honestly, and you guys know how much I've played it, I think the swinging mechanic is better than the grappling gun in any of the Batman games.
I can agree with that.
I also enjoyed the fighting system. It's not more of punch, dodge, throw batarang, punch, dodge, throw batarang. It's more of you have to time the dodges and time your punches, and outside of your punches you can pop people up in the air, you can swing into them, knock them off of a building, or you can just straight immobilize them and put them right to a wall. I love the variety that this game gives you and how to take out your enemies. Do you want to do it completely stealth, or do you want to go in balls to the wall? It's your pick. But the really great part for me in this game is the turn of Otto Octavius, and you see it happen
through the whole game,
and when it finally happens, you feel that, and it just tears your heart out. And we're talking spoilers, people, so if you haven't played it, go watch it.
Bro, the game's been out for years, like they deal with it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you're right. 100% toe. But the turn of Otto, and by the end of it, where he cracks Peter's mask open, and he calls Peter by his name, and he goes, "You knew. You knew." And the anger in that second, you knew who I was and still did exactly what you did. Oh, it just tears my freaking heart out. I loved it. It was so good. I need people to play this more, and I really can't wait for the second one. Yeah, because Miles is more like a 1.5.
Yeah,
that's because it is a 1.5.
I loved it. I loved the villains in there. I don't think there were too many of them. The only thing I felt like there were really too many of were all these backpack, pigeons, Taskmaster, all those stuff. Like, if you took 3 or 4 out of each out, I'd probably like it a little bit more. But you do these hairy hideout to help the city with stuff and pollution. That was fun for the first 4 or 5 times. and then I felt like it very much got to be a pain in the ass. So I really enjoyed it. I think people need to play it. I can't wait for the second one for when it comes out. But, you know, with a great game, there's always going to be a couple gripes. And I love Peter. I love MJ. I love Aunt May. I love Aunt May. Miles is one of my favorite characters in the game, and even the villains are all really good and really well written. And you get to a point in the game where, you know, you go into Doc's hideout, like his actual hideout, and you see what Doc is doing for each and every single one of them to help them. You know, this is why they're helping me, because Rhino is done being the Rhino, and Vulture has spine cancer, I think. But I loved it. Let's talk about the remaster now. With how awesome the remaster looked, did you hate, and I mean hate with a capital H-A-T-E, the Peter transformation from one character to the other? We'll start with Will here.
So at first it was weird, but then when I looked into it and said that was actually how he was supposed to look, and they just couldn't do it because of the system restrictions of the PS4.
Yeah, the technical aspect.
Yeah. I was more okay with it because it was like, sorry, this was how Peter was supposed to look from the beginning.
What about you, James? Oh, sorry. Well, continue.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things that is like, yeah, at first it was like, oh, what the fuck? But then afterwards I kind of forgave him.
James?
I second that because it's one of the things where it's like, how to put this? So PS4, I'm like, oh, cool, the game's on PS5. The fuck did they do to his face? I'm like, why is he like such a baby? I'm like, he's just a baby.
And I think,
used to it.
I think this is the face they're going to continue going with for the games, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, James, you have anything to add to that before I throw my unfortunate 2 cents in?
More or less, I got used to it, especially when playing Miles, and that was the face that they chose.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, you're like, okay, it is sticking, it is a permanent thing. All right, then I'm like, I have to get used to it, whether I like it or not.
So here's my thing. I understand.
It was one of the reasons they purposely included a copy of, if you got like the ultimate version of Miles, why they included the remaster for it, because they knew people were gonna like be like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. So here's my thing. I was very upset with the change, even though I understood why. Because now with the PS5, you have the graphical capability to do what you actually want it to do, and along with the PC, exactly the same thing as the PS5. Also, it runs very fucking well on a PC, like fucking mint. That's where I actually beat it, and I think I'm 2 or 3 achievements short from platinuming. Actually, I don't know if PC has platinuming. But
yes, because Steam has achievements, so you can all achievement a game.
My biggest issue with the remastered Peter Parker face is I felt like it lacked the emotion that the PS4 character Peter Parker had. Like it didn't pull me out of the game. Hi Ryan. Hey, what's up, Ryan? What's up, dude? There is music playing. Is it overpowering? We wanted some background stuff. That way it's not just dead air when there's dead air. But it didn't pull me out like it did a lot of other people for what it sounds like on the interwebs. But I felt like there was a lack of emotion in Peter Parker's face. Do you guys get that as well?
I can see it.
Yeah, no, same. I can definitely see it. Honestly, no truth.
Nicholas Felton goes, James!
Brother! Well, cousin. But, hug me, brother.
Squawk!
Hi, everybody. Actually, let's kill the music just in case something's up. But I enjoyed it. I think the graphical aspects and how smooth it was definitely a step up from the PS4 to PS5 and then the PC. It basically makes me want to play Miles now, which I am buying tomorrow when I get paid.
Yeah, I got a week to beat it.
So I'm excited for that. Miles very quickly within the first, I don't know, the first couple times seeing him became literally not one of my favorite characters, but literally one of my favorite characters. Because he's a kid, and now that we've already seen stuff for Spider-Man 2, the game, he's a grown boy in the next one. So before we go on any further, we got 4 people watching us right now, which I assume later on we're going to get a lot of people. James, why don't you scoot away for a second? Let's see that beautiful background.
Oh.
There it is. See, James? You make beautiful things. That is a beautiful cover art. Yeah, it's magic. So where'd you kind of take the inspiration for drawing this cover art?
Oh, I literally was looking at the remastered photos, and I was just like, it's a dynamic pose, and I'm like, if I'm doing something for Spider-Man, it has to be dynamic, or as I was saying yesterday, spectacular, or amazing. Either way, it came out pretty ultimate.
So we see the Sinister Six in the movie. We see them all get together. I think it's on Oscorp Tower. Which final battle with any of those characters is your favorite? James, you get to go first here.
You know what? It's Vulture for me. Do you know the reason why?
Because he can't touch the ground?
Yeah, and personally, I just despise the Vulture. So every single hit I was giving him was like, it felt personal. I was like,
Adrian! Adrian! Will, what was your... when you finally get to see the Sinister Six, what was your favorite ending fight for that character?
Yeah,
it's tough.
I think.
Yeah. I don't want to go with Ock because it's kind of short in a way. I think I gotta go with Scorpion with the Scarecrow-like world, and I thought that was pretty dope. I didn't like how it ended because all you had to do is hit him with a web and then he falls over, and then once you get to the last one, that's the one that's actually him. But I really, really liked how you had to swing, do something, swing, not touch the ground, because it's literally you're literally playing the floor as lava.
The floor is lava, my friends. And I don't know where I'm singing like this.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where you were going with that as well. So before we close it out, because, you know, I'm surprised we got to 20 minutes, the 3 of us, but there's so much in this game. I'm going to say it again. People, go play it. Also, like the video.
And then if you hate yourself, platinum it. And then if you hate yourself even more, platinum the PS5 remaster because it's actually harder.
Yeah, because didn't they add a couple achievements?
Yeah, they actually made them harder.
That's great.
There's one where you have to do one of the bases without taking a single hit.
So do it on easy.
It's still not that easy, dude.
Oh, well.
You realize how many enemies are hoarding you at one time and shooting off guns and shooting off rocket launchers, and you just have to be a dodge master? And then if you fuck up even once, you fail?
Now, is it for that playthrough if you fail once, or can you leave it, come back into it, and redo it?
Oh, you can probably leave it, come back, and...
Okay, alright. That makes me feel a little bit better. But Will, have you seen anything of the Miles Morales game?
Yes.
So you know what goes on?
Uh-huh.
Okay. James, you've probably played it, right?
Beating it. And I was going through my second playthrough with Twitch until I forgot my password.
So we'll leave that comment for the second episode next week for the Miles Morales game. But how would you rate this as a superhero game?
10 out of 10.
I'll say it gets a 10 across the board for me. Like,
You know.
Spider-Man finally has a game that's actually done right, and
I've always said that Spider-Man 2, the movie, Tobey Maguire,
Mhm.
is the best superhero movie ever made. Ever made. I honestly think 2018 Insomniac's, like the game that we're literally reviewing right now, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it like a 9.5.
That's close
Because
enough.
you guys heard my little tiny snippets of issues with it, but
Mhm.
it's a phenomenal game. I had a lot of fun. I'm literally looking at my Steam right now, and it says I have 42 hours in it. I also did all the side missions before I finished the game with like a dumbass. I also hate Taskmaster, just saying. He's an
He's a
asshole.
shit.
He's a definite piece of shit. Huge piece of shit.
Let's be real. Which Marvel fan truly really likes Taskmaster?
I mean, he sucked in. She sucked in Black Widow. He sucked in Marvel's Avengers, and he sucks in Spider-Man 2018.
I'm gonna say that game as a whole sucked.
Oh god, it was awful. I still haven't picked it up after it wiped my data. Still haven't picked it up.
I remember we were supposed to play, and I'm all like, "Yeah, Adventure Time." And you're like, "Wait, my dad." I'm like, "Never mind, delete." Not today.
Oh, Avengers, got it.
Yeah. But yeah, people, go play it. It's a lot of fun. This is a game I would buy at full price. You do you, but this is a game I would pay full price for.
I was gonna say, honestly, any way you get your hand on this game, definitely sit down, enjoy it, take in the scenery. That's the other thing I have to say. Scenery is just beautiful.
It's literally New York. It's. I went and literally stood on the hotel that we stayed at for Susie's birthday a couple of years ago in Times Square. I also found the Flatiron Building where the Harry Potter store is.
I was going around looking for, Easter eggs. So I found Doctor Strange's, play.
Nicholas Felton says he is so far behind. He goes, need to watch everything from Loki forward. Well, good thing we're not talking about live action. We're talking about a video game. So you got time. You got time, my friend. And I think James is gonna get you can straighten you out.
If you need me to, I'll just send you a quick little something on YouTube. I got you. Go.
All right, James. Once again, thank you for the art. I cannot wait to see what you do next week when you add Miles to that. But where can people find you, your artwork, and everything James Fair related?
Okay, so you guys can find me on my Instagram, the art one, so J Fair Art. Can't miss it. It's me with a pen trying to look dynamic. I failed. You can find me on TikTok under Tristan Duma or just quotation try. You'll either see my art there or something Power Rangers related. So either way, you'll be seeing me. So,
Will, where can people find your beautiful face? What game you playing right now?
Mega Man. I'm finally getting back into trying to finish this.
Attaboy. We need to figure out a time to go see TMNT. By the way, just throwing that out there, because if Ryan Fry is still watching, which I hope he is, he's watching it Saturday, and he's gonna give us a review for the channel after seeing the movie. So I'm really excited to see what he says and see if it entices me to go see it even more. Which all I have to do is mention it to Mikey, and he's literally going to drag me by my non-existent hair to go see it. So, all right, everybody, we will be right back for the closing out of this episode. But for me, we're going to send it over to Rob Paulson.
Hey, you guys, this is 625 here from Lilo and Stitch. Some people think of me as AJ Coppola. I don't care. Just follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Twitch at NDTA Jalistar15, and Xbox and PSN at AJ All-Star 15. I should have said AJ All-Star, but I'm a sandwich maker. What the hell do I know? Do yourself a favor. Go get yourself a hot fudge marshmallow tuna fish and ham sandwich. All right? Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna have another, or I'm gonna have another stream in just a little bit. Probably gonna be playing Sea of Thieves again with TJ, possibly Ryan, and other Ryan, and possibly Nate too. So in just about an hour or so, check back to the channel because we're gonna have some more Sea of Thieves fun. But other than that, Miles Morales next Thursday, 7 o'clock. We'll see you there. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye, friend.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.